So for whatever reason, sometimes my body just decides to get up way too early. I went to bed like past midnight. I got up at like 7 o'clock. Very annoying. We need gas and we need Christmas presents. You might be wondering why I'm just now getting Christmas presents. I forget that Christmas is coming every year now. Ever since I stopped asking for gifts, I don't really anticipate Christmas the same way that I did before, so usually I just forget. But anyways, I need to shop for my sister and my nephews, and then maybe the other adults, they might get something. But the kids, they'll definitely get something. Okay, it doesn't feel quite complete, but I think this is a good start. And also, I was not the only person who forgot about getting Christmas gifts because that place was packed. So for my sister, I got this glow-in-the-dark ball, this glow-in-the-dark frisbee, and not glow-in-the-dark, but like this ball. And I must admit that these are kind of like selfish gifts as well, because whenever I play with her, we need things to play with. These I would enjoy as well, so. Part of the reason why I stopped looking is because I have a very empty stomach right now, and you can only choose with a clear mind and a full stomach. It's time to fill it up. Today is December 22nd, which means that including today, there are 10 days left in the year. So I've played a number of video games this year, and for the next 10 days, each day I'm gonna talk about one of the games that I played, counting down to the best game that I played this year. And some of these games are not gonna be games that necessarily came out in 2017. I haven't played enough games to make a list that's just 2017 games, so it kind of has to be this way. First, I'm gonna go make that list, but then we'll start off with number 10. Okay, let's see. First, we gotta narrow it down to 10 games, and then we gotta order them. Okay, what did I play this year? Some of these are no-brainers, but the placement of them will be brainers. You will need a brain to place them. It's not okay, number 10. Persona 5. I wouldn't call myself a huge fan of the Persona series, but I really like them. I played all the way through Persona 3. I've played quite a bit of Persona 4, but I never finished it. And Persona 5, just the most amazing sense of style. Some of my favorite music I've ever heard in a video game. Great characters, great story. I love the aspect of like doing all the social links and like doing things to get like your compassion meter up. Those are all so silly, but it's what makes Persona so much fun to play. The one thing I think they really did a good job of in this game is having dungeons that are actually designed. So the first dungeon is the one where you're actually going through the castle and all that. That's great fun, it's awesome. I much prefer that to the dungeons in the other Persona games where it's just like one vast labyrinth. I like the battle system a lot, where you have to do the press attacks where it's like you exploit their weakness and then you attack them again. That stuff is all great, I love it. There's just too much of it. This game would have taken a much higher spot had I actually been able to finish it without spending 100 hours on it. I have played this game for over 40 hours and it just became too long and too much. At one point I turned it to easy, and then at another point I was like, okay, easy's not easy enough, I'm gonna turn it on the lowest difficulty just so I can see the story. And just to get to the meat of the story, there was so much gameplay to get through that I was just burned out. Now, if people ask me what I do for a living, I either say I do video production or I'm a video editor. Editing is my favorite part, and I also think it's what I'm best at. And this game needed an editor. I know for some people that's a positive, they want super meaty games, but I appreciate games that will get to the point and tell me what I need to know and give me the experience. In fact, those are my favorite type of games. You'll find out later in this list when we get towards the higher end. One of the best experiences I had this year was barely 5 hours long. But overall, Persona 5 was a fantastic game while it lasted. I remember when I first got it, every night at about 10 or 11, I would play for an hour or two. It was so much fun to play in the dark with this great music and like this awesome visual style and this interesting story that was slowly developing, and then eventually was developing a little too slowly. And even though I was really looking forward to that China trip, I was really disappointed that I would have to stop playing it because I had to go to China. An incredibly strong start, kind of a weak finish, but Persona 5, worthy of the number 10 slot. for the games I've played in 2017. And so I've got a couple of other categories this year: best surprises, honorable mentions, and biggest disappointments. So going along with that China trip, right before we left, we got Nintendo Switches, and I wanted to get a game to play that was good local co-op so we could all play together, me, Andrew, and my sister. And what I ended up getting was Shock Troopers. This is a re-release of a Neo Geo game. I first found out about this game from the YouTube channel My Life in Gaming. They were playing it on a live stream one time. And this is just so my type of game. Beautiful pixel art, awesome twin stick shooter gameplay that doesn't actually use two sticks. If you hold the shoot button and then you move around, they'll stay shooting in that direction. So it's just like this really tightly crafted, fun co-op shooter. It's really mindless, but it was perfect for our China trip because there'd be times where we'd just be like, I can hand a Joy-Con to my sister and I could actually have fun playing and she could just do whatever she wanted to do. But Shock Troopers, awesome game. Totally recommended if you have a Nintendo Switch. It's only like $8 too. So, okay. So that's it for day 10. Day 9, let me give you a hint on what it is. So going along with the China theme, think of the Chinese zodiac, and maybe that'll give you a clue on what game it is. So I can't do like a top 10 movies or a top 10 TV shows because off the top of my head, I saw one movie this year. At least the only one I remember is Last Jedi. Did I see any other movies? And I can remember 2 TV shows that are new series that I watched: Samurai Gourmet and American Vandal. Maybe I'll talk about those tomorrow. Those are probably worth talking about. Going to my dad's house, I'm gonna play some Super Nintendo with my sister. Super Nintendo is like such a great entry-level system for kids. It's fun enough for adults, and it's not too difficult for kids, so they still have a good time also. Hard to believe Christmas is on Monday. Today is Christmas Eve, which means tomorrow's Christmas Eve. One of my favorite days of the year. One thing I forgot to mention is that Persona 5 soundtrack of the year, no question. I used the music from that game for the vlog like for weeks at a time. God, it's so good. There's another game on my list, which you will find out about later. Well, actually a couple that just had really disappointing music. Music for me is maybe one of the most important things in a game. In fact, I would go so far as to say that for me, it might be the most important thing in a game because a really bad game can have really good music and I'll still play it. But in Persona's case, it was a good game with good music, so that wasn't necessary, but okay. This is the eggnog my mom made. Oh my God, it's so good, dude. You know what I need to go along with this eggnog? Some coffee. Actually, Hales on Air suggested that I use decaf when I was trying to quit coffee, and that's actually what I started doing. And when she suggested, I was like, well, I'm afraid I'm gonna still get addicted to it anyway, which I probably am. But the great thing is there's so little caffeine. When I don't drink it, I don't get a headache. And I can drink it at night and I'll still be able to fall asleep, which is great. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for today's vlog. Thank you very much for watching. This is the same place where I filmed like the video game stuff. It's amazing what lighting and a proper setup can do. Because I bet this looks like crap right now. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Friday night at 8. I will not be late. She might be my mate.
That would be so great. Great, 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 great. And often on the way.